Hey, what's up, everyone? This is a story time that is a little different. Y'all see me post, my work. I rarely share anything that's considered to me private. My personal relationships. I try to keep, to myself, and other things that happen. But I felt that it was important that I did a story time because if you are following me, then you would know that I posted a video recently of me in the hospital. If you didn't see it, I'll put it within this video somewhere. And I was really on the fence about doing that because I've seen other people do that, and I'm just like, I don't know about sharing, my personal plight of what's going on with me. But as I sat in the emergency room, I was like, I have to share this with people. First, I was scared as all get out. That was like the main thing, and I felt like I needed good vibes and blessings and prayers. And so because I literally did not know what was happening. I just knew, and I'll explain that story. So that was one reason, is because I needed the energy out there. Second reason is I felt like my story could help someone else. And that is the whole point of me putting together this video. I just want to do a little disclaimer. You guys may see me from time to time just kind of take a drink, because I have to drink a lot of fluids with the medication that I'm on. And you may hear my breathing pattern be a little off, and I'll explain that in a moment. So just bear with me. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I will try to keep it short and sweet because I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. So let me tell you guys what happened. I'll do the timeline. So on Friday, I would say probably like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I started to feel a tightness in my chest area, like right here, right? And I mean, I didn't think, okay, so I don't want to say I didn't think anything of it, but I literally thought it was stress. I thought it was stress combined with maybe anxiety. I'm the type of person that tends to hold a lot in. I don't speak up, which I am currently working on and trying to, be better about. But, my thoughts or feelings or irritations or whatever, I keep it bottled inside. So, I would say the top things that really kind of stress me out is career. I've been trying to level up on just everything, my content, my platform, my own business, maybe even trying to work with or contribute to an entertainment lifestyle show or whatever. And so, when you've been doing something so long and you're trying to find out what works, what doesn't work, it can be stressful. But for me, that is I would say the number one thing that if it is going to bother me, or if something's going to bother me, it'll be that. Also to weight, for me right now, my weight is up. That has been for a couple months, a number one stressor for me is, I've been thinking I'm doing all the right things, going to CrossFit 3 times a week, trying to like work out at least 4 times a week, being active. I do have a very poor relationship with food, which I am currently trying to work on that. But the fact that it's up and it's a stressor for me, you know. Weight is a huge thing in America if you're overweight. And I don't want to get into that because that's going to just make this video longer. So we'll touch on that later. But that just gives you an idea of like some of the things that are that were causing me stress, or for me to feel like, okay, well, the tension or tightness that I feel in my chest is probably related to that. And then like, you know, personal things that's been going on, right? So you know, at first I felt it here and I didn't really think anything of it. And as the, you know, night continued, I'm like, okay, I started to feel the pain more so in like right here in my neck area. And then it was like here under my breast and like side, right? So I thought, okay, well, let me take some CBD or, you know, like, let me just take something to kind of like calm, maybe even drink a glass of wine to just kind of like calm myself down. So, you know, Friday I did that. I went to sleep, and Saturday morning woke up and I'm like, okay, the pain is still here and it's intensified, it seems like. I got to the point where I couldn't laugh. I couldn't cough or yawn. Yawning hurt, you know, it was hurting really bad. Yeah, like I could, you know, and so Friday night when I went to bed, I was doing a lot of tossing and turning, and like laying on my left side was painful. And I'm like, okay, what is going on? So I woke up Saturday still feeling like the intensity, a little bit more intense pain. And I said, okay, well, let me take some ibuprofen. So I took 2 ibuprofen thinking like, hey, this is gonna, you know, the pain relief, it's gonna come soon, you know, and you know, I'll be fine. So I wasn't feeling up to doing much activity. So, you know, I just kind of laid on the couch and just tried to hopefully see if the pain would subside or go away. As it's getting later and later, I'm noticing the pain is getting worse. It's getting to the point where I can't walk from my couch, which I'm sitting on to just, you know, be relaxed, to the bathroom, which is like it's not like I'm going a mile. I mean, it's just, you know, right around the corner. And it was difficult for me to get off the couch. You know, I'm like, you know, I can't catch my breath, or when I do the smallest activity, I felt like heart palpitations. And I'm like, okay, what is going on? Like, this is really intense chest pain. So I'm still being optimistic. And see, this is the reason why I'm like sharing this story, is because a lot of times we don't listen to our bodies. You know what I mean? Like, we don't. And I'm like, oh, you know, well, maybe it's just heartburn, or, you know what I mean? I'm just like justifying in my mind what it wasn't, right? So, Friday night, it was uncomfortable to lay. Like, at this point, I couldn't walk to the bathroom. I couldn't lay down. I couldn't talk, barely. Like, you know, nothing too excitable. I couldn't, mobility was off the table. It was off the table. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of starting to scare me. So it was probably around midnight that I went to sleep. You know, I watched a movie. As long as I stayed still, pretty much, I was fine. But I mean, still I need to go up or get up to go to the bathroom and do all these things. So anyway, it wasn't until Saturday evening, late night, it was like midnight, or like close to 1 o'clock, one of the two, that I went to get up off the couch, and I had to get assistance from my boyfriend. And I'm like, okay, I know I'm getting up there in age, but like, no, you know what I mean? So I'm like, this is starting to scare me. This is like, I'm literally starting to, be afraid. So I go to bed, and it was hard to get in the bed, and hard to get up and off the toilet, but I go to bed, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what if this is more severe? I mean, because at this point, if I can't be mobile, I feel like there's something more going on that maybe I don't know, right? So I lay down, and I was thinking to myself, damn, what if I'm suffering a mild heart attack and I don't even know? So I don't know if you're anything like me, but y'all, as soon as I think like, a symptom I have, I'm on Google. And I know Google is the worst thing at times when you are not feeling well. Google is not your friend sometimes, because it makes you feel like, oh my God, I'm dying tomorrow. But literally, I typed in, like mild heart attack symptoms. And what came up was some of the symptoms I was having. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if this is Google and late night and I'm tripping or what, but like, whoa. So then I read this AARP article about this guy that was saying that he was an EMT and he was having chest pains, and he was like, I should have known better. I'm an EMT. Like, why didn't I go to the hospital? But we're always trying to give ourselves excuses. And so I kept seeing like the word silent killer, and I'm like starting to like get anxiety. I'm like, okay. And I'm laying in bed, and I was gonna ignore. I'm like, okay, I read that article, maybe just try to go to sleep. But then I got scared, because I was like, bruh, what if I go to sleep and I don't wake up? Right? You know what I mean? Like, what if I don't wake up? So, my boyfriend, he was sleeping, he was sleeping good. And I tapped him, and I'm like, I think I may be having a mild heart attack. And he's like, for real? And, I told him went on Google, and, but the question was, do you want to go to the hospital? And I'm like, I'm still at that very moment, like, do I want to go to the hospital? Like, I'm asking myself the question, do I want to go to the emergency room? I don't know. And I don't know where this comes from. I don't know if it's my Black folks, are we a little apprehensive because of, our older family members not going to the hospital? Are we apprehensive about going? But why am I apprehensive about going? You know what I mean? So at that point I was like, okay, really think about this, girl. If you're afraid to go to sleep, maybe you should go to the hospital. You know what I mean? If you're afraid to go to sleep because you think you're gonna die in your sleep, you might want to go ahead and go to the hospital. So I was like, okay, yeah, you know what? Let's go. Because I can't even sleep knowing that or feeling that I might not wake up. And this pain is so intense that nothing laying down is not even comfortable at this point. Maybe my anxiety was causing the pain to intensify, but I was like, let's go. Keep in mind, at this point, I'm still having a hard time walking. I'm still having a hard time breathing. Talking, everything, okay? And I'm thinking in my head, well, is it a mild heart attack or is it COVID? I don't know. So one of the ER nurses were there and I said, look, I think I'm having a mild heart attack. And kudos to the emergency room that I went to because they were on it, okay? On it. So they, asked me all my symptoms and, went through the whole rigmarole. And I waited, in the registration or administration area, and the ER doctor came out. He was so nice, so made me feel comfortable, like I'm going to take care of you, So they said, they're going to get a bed for me together. And I'm scared. I'm like, what, I don't know what's going on, but okay. He made me feel very comfortable. So I go to the back. They immediately take my blood pressure. The ER doctor kind of had an idea of what he thought it was, but wasn't really sure. And of course, tests needed to be ran. So they did an EKG on me. And when you're, let me just try to get my thoughts together. When you're in the ER, that was another sad thing. None of my loved ones are able to come up there. You know what I mean? And I'm having all these medical terms thrown at me and what they're going to administer, and time started to become non-existent. And I'm at this point tearing up. I'm crying. I'm I'm super scared. So they're running all these tests. They're trying to figure out what is going on. And then it's the waiting on the test too. So the EKG was done. They took my oxygen levels, my blood pressure. Of course, they took blood, and I hate needles. I hate getting blood taken, but in this instance, suck it up, sister, because we need to figure out what's going on with you. Okay. So it wasn't until they were like, we are going to do a x-ray of your chest. And I'm like, okay. And I'm just thinking at this point, I'm in the emergency room, bed. And I'm thinking, bruh, if this is some stress and some anxiety, I'm literally not going to stress about nothing, because stress can kill you for real. And I'm just this is crazy. So they take me to the x-ray room to get the x-ray. And it was wild because they're like, we're going to give you this medicine. It's going to make you really hot. You're going to think you peed on yourself. I'm like, y'all, I don't want to be peeing on myself, but they're like, no, you're not going to pee, but you're going to feel like you got to pee, but you're not going to pee, but it's going to get really hot. I'm like, okay, y'all are making me real nervous. But despite it, I'm in this, it's this tubular, it's round here. It literally looks like a ring light with a bed. That's what it looked like to me. And then you go through the ring light as you're laying on the bed, and it's scanning you. It's scanning your chest area. So it's 3 o'clock, I think, or 3. Mind you, time is escaping me. But I want to say it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And the doctor comes back and he's like, so the x-rays show that you have blood clots on your lungs. Yeah. Not only on one lung, I thought it was just on the left side. I eventually found out it's on both of my lungs that I have blood clots. So, before they took the chest x-ray, I took a COVID test. That luckily came back negative. And they eventually did a second COVID test, a more extensive one, where the first one they just did a little bit in the nostrils. The second one, I was like, she was sick in her, it was all the way up there. But yeah, that came back. I didn't find out that came back negative until they admitted me. So he was like, you have blood clots on your lungs. You're gonna have to stay here. And I was in such disbelief. It was literally a whirlwind, honestly. Since Friday, it's been a whirlwind for me. So it took a while for them to get a bed for me. And while they were getting the bed for me, that's when I put out the picture of like, y'all, I need y'all the prayers, because if you have blood clots in your lungs, your lungs is where you're getting oxygen. So what does that mean? You understand? Like, you can die, So I was like, literally need to put, because I'm like, where do we go from here? What does this mean for me? I had so many questions. So they finally got me in the bed, and I'm still in pain. I need a wheelchair to be, moved around. They finally got me to a bed where I could lay down a little bit more comfortably. They put me on pain medication, which definitely helped. So in the ER, they did a lot for me. They put me on the pain medication, which was helping the pain subside. It was definitely still there and still very hard to breathe and talk. They also put a shot in my stomach immediately to thin out my blood so that those blood clots can thin out. And they were going to put me on oxygen, but they saw that my oxygen levels were really good, so it wasn't necessary for me to get oxygen. So I'm like, okay. So they take me finally upstairs to a bed, and at that point, they wanted to monitor me because they want to see, they're doing all these tests and want to run more tests on me to see like, what is the cause? Why did this happen? And they continue to ask me questions like, are you on birth control? Do you smoke tobacco? And both of those were no. I haven't been on birth control since like 17. So like, I could not figure. I'm like, could it be COVID? But that test came back negative. So we're just like picking at straws, and I'm trying to tell them, my family history, which I'm not completely sure of. It's just like, it was like super intense and super a lot, finding out that your chest pain that you thought was stress is now a serious condition. So I just got released last night. I was exhausted because they put a heart monitor on me, and then I had an IV in, and trying to sleep with those. I got literally no sleep. I had to share a room with someone else. So that being in an environment where, you're not familiar with, you're not by your loved ones can't come see you. I was there from early Sunday morning to today is Tuesday, so Monday night. And in that short amount of time, it was miserable. You know, I mean, you can't be by your family wants to come see you. So I can only imagine COVID patients. I don't wish that experience or any type of health experience on anyone. It is very lonely. It's very scary, especially if you don't know. You know, even in the ER, you have so many faces and people coming in and out and speaking to you, and you're trying to like keep names together, keep together the names of the things that they're giving you, so you know what is being put in your body. Yeah. So my road to recovery, I'll talk briefly about that because I feel like I've kept you long enough. I don't know how long this video is right now. I'm trying to look at the time. But they released me. Sorry, my phone was ringing. They released me, and what I have to do is I have to be on blood thinners for 3 months until they see that, you know, there's no more blood clots. Not only that, I have to make sure I take the pain medication kind of more so as needed. I'm trying to stay on top of that because before I left on Monday morning, like early morning, probably about 7 or 8 o'clock, I had a really bad episode. And actually I was like kind of trying to keep a video diary of everything. So, you know, I'll put that clip in right now so you could see how bad it was.
It's taken a while for the pain medication to kick in, but it's slowly getting better. Yeah, wouldn't wish this on anyone, but I'm trying to hang in there, so. I'm lonely, so I just decided to kind of do a video diary, you know. It's so lonely here. So. I just try to relax and get some rest.
So yeah, that happened. And they were like then telling me I might have to stay another day. And I'm like, oh my God, no. You know, so I do need to make sure that, you know, I'm taking my pain medication and taking it in a timely manner so that it doesn't flare up again. But as of right now, pain-wise, you know, I still have like slight pain right here. I just took my morning dosage of, you know, the blood thinners and the pain medication. So right now, you know, once the pain medication kicks in, it's all good, but I can start to feel when it subsides. My main concern while I was in the hospital, I told them, like, please don't put me on any type of opioids. I don't even want to test those waters. So they gave me Tylenol and a very, very low dose. So hopefully, because it's normal when you have these clots that you're going to have this intense pain. And when I'm saying intense pain, it felt like someone was stabbing me, just like stabbing. And it's just like tight, it's sharp, it's horrible. So it's definitely needed, but I just didn't want any type of opioid in my system. So as of now, I'm on the road to recovery, guys. I'm doing much better. I do want to say I saw all of your prayers and blessings, and thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Like there was such an outpour of people that sent those prayers, and they were so needed for me, because I was so scared. I really thought, like, yo, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, am I gonna die? You know? So I saw them. I could not respond to everyone, and seeing as though I couldn't because there were so many people, I decided to make a video. So I want to thank y'all, and I want to say, please share this video with a family member, friends, because I want this video to help someone else. Like that AARP article helped me to go to the emergency room. You think it's something small, you're like, it's no big deal, it'll go away on its own. Nuh-uh. No, if any little discomfort, the main thing that I learned from this situation is listen to your body. For real, like really be in tune and really listen. And if I get scared thinking if I continued to ignore that, how it would have worsened. And the doctors and nurses were like, thankfully you came when you did, because it could be, like, we can get you on a treatment. So, February, hopefully, when I go back, things have cleared up. If not, then I will have to remain on blood thinners for the rest of my life. So, please keep me in your prayers. Y'all, don't be afraid to go to the ER if you need to and seek some medical attention. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I have a pulmonary embolism is what it's called. So that is my diagnosis, and I am recovering, and I wanted to let everyone know that I appreciate all the love, all the support, all the well wishes, all the prayers. I heard them. I saw them. If I didn't get to you, I'm not ignoring you. I just was in the hospital and I couldn't, respond to everyone. And then not only that, it was tearing me up. Like I was literally at times breaking down, crying, reading some of these messages you guys left. They were really beautiful. And you know what I mean? It was like, yeah. So I don't want to start crying on camera, but I want to let you guys know that I'm doing better, and I feel as though, and I'm very optimistic and putting it in the universe that things will clear out. Okay. Again, guys, share it with your friends, share this video with your friends and family, help them. Okay. That's my story time. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.